Yo, what's happening everybody? King GBL here, and welcome back to my very first Great League Remix video. Today I'm going to be showcasing my very first games in the Great League Remix. I have completely avoided this cup all week, because I kind of thought it might be RPS, but from what I've seen, a lot of people seem to be enjoying this cup, and I decided since we have Great League next week as well, I want to give this cup a try this week. Now, the team that I'm running here consists of Dragonair in the lead, with Carbink and Toxapex in the back. Now, I'm showcasing this first battle here because I actually lost my first game and I decided I want to swap over to Dragonair. It's a little bit more oppressive, you can RPS switch advantage, and generally this Pokemon does really well in limited metas, and it's a Pokemon I highly enjoy using. My Dragonair is Shadow, and if you don't have a Shadow, it may work in this position, but Shadow Dragonair is a lot better than regular Dragonair, so if you do have that, I would recommend using that instead. But we're going to hop into the battles, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, it is absolutely free, and thank you for the support in yesterday's video. It's a bit of a lower viewed video, but it was going into details about how you can improve, get Ace, Veteran, Expert, or Legend for the first time ever, and I got a lot of really good feedback in that video, so thank you very much everybody, and if you do want to check that out, feel free to do so at the end of the video. So, it looks like this game, we're actually getting farmed down by Dragonair, and this might have been part of the reason why I decided to use it. Unfortunately, not able to get off the foul play, maybe should have just went for Power Punch. I'm not sure if the opponent would have shielded the Power Punch, but it may have actually made a difference here, because as you're about to see, Carbink is about to eat, I think, 3 Aqua Tails, which even though this is an amazing matchup for Carbink, yeah, so as you're seeing right here, that one Power Punch would have saved me eating this one Aqua Tail, which might have made a difference here. Vigoroth is going to counter us down, but I think in either case, we were going to lose that match anyway. So, hopping into this match, we have Dragonair versus Mandibles, and to be completely honest with you, a lot of the matchups in this league, I don't really know if they're winning matchups or losing matchups. I feel like Toxapex, because it's so bulky, with the hard-hitting Sludge Bomb, will be positive for this, and the opponent actually comes into a double. Now, double can know a Wild Charge, we can easily live one. Usually my tips for shielding is, if you can live a move, and there's a chance the opponent might be baiting, you probably just let the move go. Whenever you're getting to the point where now, we probably could be taken out, this is where I would consider shielding up. So I do decide to shield, it is another body slam. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, the opponent's not building up to back, they may just be on payback. I was very tempted to go for bait here, but I decide to full send the Sludge Wave, the opponent lets it go, and we take switch advantage. Now if this thing comes back in, this is perfectly good, we can look to Sludge Wave this thing, and we'll be in a very good position. We're either going to get the opponent's final shield, or we're going to put it into a range where we can farm it down with Stinky Binky. We're going to eat all of these moves, everything is resisted on this Pokemon. Foul Play, not Sky Attack, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, and in comes Scrafty. The move I was thinking of was Earlius. Now Scrafty of course can Power Punch for us here, but we're going to be able to get to 2 moves here, our health is not dissipating quickly enough for the Scrafty to put in a ton of work against us, so I just YOLO the Moonblast. The opponent's win condition is to call a bait, and I decide, you know what, I'm not going to give you that win condition, we're either going to take your shield or take you out, and even if they do take us out somehow, Dragonair is going to be able to deal with it, and we should be able to deal with the low health Mandibles anyway. Good games well played, and we're hopping into the next one. Sometimes whenever it's the opponent's win condition to call a bait, you just full send the move, because they have a super low health Pokemon in the back, and if we do go for the Rock Slide, that's going to be resisted damage, they're going to get ramped up, and they're going to have a chance to take us out, so I decided I'm not going to let that happen. Now this match is an interesting one. I decided to go for a CMP here on 15 turns. If they overfarm much more, you know, it's not very likely that they do. A little bit of a risky CMP if they had went for the overfarm. I decided to call a Body Slam, the opponent does throw it, and in comes Cresselia. I decided to farm up, I wanted to farm up to the Body Slam, but I farmed up just before it. Now the thought crossed my mind that they may be on Future Sight, and this absolute mad lad is running Future Sight, which is probably quite good for this meta. This Pokemon is quite strong against Cresselia. This is one of the harder counters to it in this meta. Just bulk versus bulk, and you're throwing hard-hitting moves, and the worst they can usually throw is Grass Knot. The opponent built all the way back up, so I decide, you know what, they might be on Future Sight Moonblast, so I decide, you know what, we're going to try and take switch advantage here. But in comes a Grass Knot, so I'm not really sure what's going on here. Don't know why they're not throwing Grass Knot on that one, but we're going to throw the Sludge Bomb. The opponent will survive it, but we should be able to farm it down with Dragonair, and look to get off a move on whatever comes back in. Now the opponent was double shielding, so I was starting to think, okay, maybe there's a Fairy type in the back. The opponent lets that damage go, which is amazing, and at this point, we're going to come in with Stinky Binky, and we're just going to tap Taparoo. The opponent goes for the catch on double. They did leave with a little bit of energy, and this is just going to be the Body Slam, which further reinforces the idea that they're probably on payback. Back in comes Wigglytuff, they've allowed us to get to a ton of energy. We'll get to back-to-back moves here. The opponent can really throw like a Disarming Voice. I believe Wigglytuff knows Moonblast. Wigglytuff with Charm is not something I use very often, Oh, they do know Ice Beam, which is quite interesting. More expensive than Disarming Voice. Good games, well played. And let's hop into this one. So, in this mirror match, what I like to do is keep an eye on the health bar and see who goes into the yellow first. We went into the yellow first, which means that I want to throw off this move, I'll win CMP. And yeah, the opponent actually lets it go, which is perfect for me. In comes Golbat, and they're going to take us out, but not before we get off a body slam. Now in comes Jellicent. Jellicent is a bit of a core breaker for this team, and to be honest with you, I let them take me out here. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to go into, and I had to think about this for a second. I know Stinky Binky is very good against Golbat, but I feel like Toxapex it's just kind of rough. I tried to catch a Surf on the Toxapex and get a little bit ahead in energy, because of course the Golbat is ahead in energy as well. But what I want to do here is basically look to absorb all of this energy, just eat it all in Toxapex, just jab it down, and get it in a range where I can look to take it out with Carbink. Now we're going to overfarm here, expecting the opponent to go out for a catch. We do not throw the Sludge Bomb, we throw the Brine here, and I'm trying to get to another move, but the opponent does dump energy. At this point, this is perfect. The only sort of awkward thing here is the fact that we don't get off another Brine, which would have been nice, but they're going to get a permanent debuff on Stinker. We will get a farm down, and we should be able to get to multiple moves here. But here's the thing, the opponent has 2 shields, and we have 2 shields as well. The opponent's super low in health, and I've accomplished basically exactly what I wanted here. I have no need to throw a move anymore. I should be able to shield up twice. I even still live a Surf if I need to, and just farm this thing the whole way down. The opponent's not going to get to enough moves. I think that Rock Through that just went through will be enough to take it out, and we did have a little bit of a core breaker. Jellicent is probably the most awkward Pokemon for this team. It has a pretty positive matchup against the entire team. Dragonair actually does kind of well against it, because you can Dragon Breath it down, go for resisted Aqua Tails. I want to say a shout out to somebody in the comments maybe a week ago or a few days ago who said, go for Aqua Tail on Jellicent, not Body Slam, because Ghost actually double resists normal, whereas Water single resists Water, so that is the better move to go for, and I've definitely learned from that mistake. So the opponent went for a catch on Diggersby here. We were patient enough with our energy, and we're getting off 2 Aqua Tails, and we've almost taken out this Fickersby, one of my personal favourite Pokemon. Now, I don't see any reason in the world that they would go for anything other than Earthquake. They're only getting to 1 move, and I think that's a perfectly good shield. Even though resisted, we were able to jab it down, and most likely, I thought they would come in with their last Pokemon. They may be weak to this in the back. If they're coming in to get this chip damage, this may be a sign that they're weak. I decide to snipe, and in comes Aurorus. No chance to win that match for them, unfortunately. Even if they go for Meteor Beam, they're going to get farmed down so quickly that there's not really a whole lot they can do. And we end up going 4-1 in that set, which is beautiful. We lost the first one, and we're on a 4-game win streak, and we're up to 25-22 elo. I had a very terrible day a couple of days ago, where I went 7 out of 25, 7 wins out of 25 games. Was getting absolutely wrecked. I had a Trevenant lead, seen so many Noctowl, Sableye, Sandslash, completely core breakers for my team, and RPS'd me, so it's good to get back over here, and the streak is going to continue, folks. In comes Galvantula. Now, once again, the thing I love about this Pokemon, unless it's a Charmer or an Ice type, you don't really have to swap out of anything. I decided to bank a Body Slam. We're going to chip this thing even though it is nerfed, and I think I probably should just be coming into Toxapex. I do try to catch the Body Slam, and the opponent will go for Power Whips here. Once again, I'm not like overly familiar with a lot of these matchups, so I'm kind of just YOLOing these games, to be perfectly real with you. I feel like it's probably a positive matchup for Toxapex, so I probably should just go straight into there, and just keep all of that energy, where it is going to be more useful later on. I did bank a Body Slam, which will definitely be useful in the end game, and we do end up farming down the Lakitung. We shield up once, back in comes this thing. They may be committing to the farm down. I know that I'd lose CMP, so I don't throw that move on alignment, because if the opponent decides to throw, I'm not going to get the move off anyway, and we've got the opponent's final shield. Now what I want to do here is come in with the Stinkmeister. I am unironically calling this Stinky Binky. Let me know in the comments, guys, do you have a Stinky Binky? And we're going to come in with Dragonair here, just to basically get as much chip on this thing as possible. And yeah, we should get off 2 Body Slams, which will get this thing super low. Look how like insane this thing is. Like, we've got this bulky Toxapex down to 50% HP, just with Dragon Breaths and 1 Body Slam, and now we have a shield up. Now at this point we can look to farm this thing the whole way down, and we don't even have to farm it the whole way down, right, because like we can just dump moves on it. They've got no shields left, and they're going to get to the Brines. Now I decided not to shield this because I know that I live this very comfortably, in fact, and we're going to get off this move. Now this won't actually quite KO, because Carbink is quite bulky, and we should hopefully be able to get the farm down. The opponent is only 1 Volt Switch off a move, and my thinking here in not shielding any of those was that they'll get to a move, and I predicted that maybe a Discharge would do more damage than a Brine, because Brine is a terrible move. Toxapex is super bulky, so even though super effective, I felt like Discharge would do more, and I just wanted to make sure they had no opportunity to throw a move, and I knew that I could live it comfortably enough to farm them down. So that was the thinking there. May not be correct, but I think it worked out well in the end. Now this is a pretty tricky Pokemon for this team. If it has Future Sight, it basically beats our whole team. They're going straight for the Moonblast, and in comes Cresselia here. Now what I decide to do here is store all of the energy and go into Toxapex, which I do believe has a very positive matchup against this thing. I probably could have considered chipping it once again, but I wanted to keep all of that energy for Cresselia, and I believed that this Pokemon could deal with Cresselia, so that was the thinking behind that. Once again, in this Remix Cup, these are my first games, so I'm not overly familiar with how all of the matches go, so hopefully I'm not completely messing things up here. As you can see, the R getting is quite low, and I thought I could probably live one more move. It is a Grass Knot, we do not live it, and at this point we're going to look to come in, get an overfarm of this thing. I accidentally throw the Body Slam, which is resisted, but luckily enough they're low enough, and we have enough attack that completely wrecks it. Now in comes their own Stinker. At this point, it's going to take them a while to get to a move. We're going to fire off this first Aqua Tail, and we're going to look to bank one for later on. In comes Stinker versus Stinker. We're having a stink off right here. In comes Cresselia. Now, I'm thinking that this one move that they're going to throw is going to be the hardest hitting move left in the game. It is a Future Sight, which would absolutely rip us. Can we commit to this farm down in time? We just about do get the farm down, which is beautiful, which leaves us over a Moonblast, and of course we have the move banged. So all we have to do is just go back and forth, stink on stink. I'm sorry. Let me know in the comments, is that annoying? Like, for me it's just hilarious. It's not even funny, but it's just one of those things where it is quite hilarious. One thing I probably should check here, I want to see which is more energy efficient if you're using this Pokemon. So Rock Slide is 2 damage for energy, and Moonblast is 2.2 damage for energy. So Moonblast is more efficient, and you do have the 10% chance of a debuff, so there's something to keep in mind. I think if you're only going to get off, one move, you could, if you're only going to be able to get off one Moonblast, you could try to get off 2 Rock Slides. It really just depends. Now, we decided to catch a move on this thing. Once again, I believe Toxapex has a pretty positive matchup here. We resist all of the counters, we get a huge overfarm with Dragonair, and we're going to be able to put that energy to use. Dragonair with a move loaded is so scary for opponents. If the opponents play Dragonair correctly, they can make it just such a problem. You can not really shield as much as you want to. And we farmed this down. I'm actually throwing an amazing timing here, by the way. I throw one before they get to the foul play. Basically, they get to the first foul play in 7, and then 6, and then 7. I guess foul play must be a clone of Rock Slide, because with Machamp, Rock Slide is 767, right? We throw after 1 for good timing. We're going to look to try and chip this Hypno, do a little bit of Chipno in the Hypno, and back in comes Dragonair. We're going to throw after 3 Dragon Breaths to make sure that we're not allowing them to get any free energy or any free damage. Boom, we're going to swap straight out into the Stinkmeister. And I'm thinking this thing probably doesn't have like a grass move. I mean, probably it does. This thing is a bag of tricks. Hypno is a bag of tricks. It probably knows Solar Beam, and I just don't know about it, but I wasn't predicting that, and in comes a pretty negative lead. Throw 2 Dragon Breath, swap out, and look to swap into Toxapex here. It takes them 3 drill runs to take us out. We no-shield the first one because it could be the Icy Wind. Boom, and in comes a Mandibuzz. Now once again, I think this is quite a positive match for Toxapex, so I can look to flip switch, or look to get a farm down in the end. Maybe take a shield off the opponent, flip switch, one of the 2. And I'm thinking Stinky might be able to go for a bit of a sweep here. They're showing 1 flying type, so maybe it's unlikely that they have another one, but I do think it is possible that they have something that is weak to this in the back. They let all these moves go, which is super surprising, and I may decide to shield here, take switch advantage, make sure my Dragonair is not getting lined up with the Dugong, and I think this is working out pretty well. In comes a Marowak, which of course is another Pokemon that is weak to Carbink. We're going to get off this Brine, which will put a huge chip into this thing, so the opponent decide to shield it. Now, we do have a move loaded on the other thing. We go for a CMP time. Now, I usually let these go, but I know the opponent's not going to be able to get a ton of farm if they farm me down, and the opponent's final shield is at stake here. Boom, final shield, we're going to come in with Dragonair. Now, I'm going to eat this move, of course. We do not actually die to a single move here, which is amazing. And in comes Dugong. We can actually get a big chip on this thing as well, and as you're seeing, even against these ice types, Dragonair has the ability to get anything super low, which I love about this Pokemon, except for fairies maybe, but 1 Body Slam hurts fairies quite a lot though. Now, we're going to farm this thing the whole way down. It's once again going to take like 3 drill runs to take us out. Boom, that's drill run number 1, and we can even eat a second one. We'll have a Rock Slide loaded for the Marowak. We're going to be a little bit cheeky here. We're going to throw the Rock Slide, and I think we do decide to try and go for a catch here. The opponent realizes they see the writing on the wall. There's somebody in their house behind them writing on the wall. You're losing this game, buddy. So he top lefts, and that's a good game. Carbink is definitely an OP closer in this team, and one of the thought processes behind using Toxapex is to potentially draw out anything that would be strong against Carbink. So if the opponent had like a Quagsire in the back or something like that, we're looking to draw that out. Now in comes a very interesting lead. It's Pidgeot. What I decide to do here is throw the Body Slam in good timing, just 1 turn before they reach the move. The opponent's going to shield this up, because they always shield up the first one, and we're going to try and catch what I think is going to be a Feather Dance on this Pokemon right here. The opponent does not really need to Brave Bird a Dragonair, so it was pretty obvious to me that they wouldn't go for it. Now in comes this Pokemon here. I'm lucky the opponent did not decide to CMP me, but they do seem to be going for an overfarm right here. We get off the first move, and the opponent is just going to start firing off Mud Bombs here quite shortly. Toxapex is so thick that we can easily live one Mud Bomb, and the opponent's going to have to fire off another one. They could have got off another one, but I think the opponent's probably not counting their energy here. Otherwise, they probably should have just got rid of me. But yep, they're going to counter us down here if they can. They're eventually forced to throw a move. So the opponent's got a ton of energy here, and I'm going to try and snipe with Dragonair so that they can't get off the move. 2 Dragon Breaths takes them out, so they must have tapped on counter, and in comes Buzzwole. This is basically game over for the opponent. This Body Slam's coming through, and we're going to look to just take it out with Stingy. Carbink's coming through, and because this is a bug type, with Joint Fighting, these are neutral Rock Throws and neutral Rock Slide, so we can just look to go for Rock Slide pretty close to take this out. We are debuffed, and of course we're super thick, so this may not even take out at this range, but there's no way it'll be on a lot of health after this, and we still have, like I said, the Dragonair. We're going to be able to sweep this game with Carbink. This Pokemon is super broken, and yeah, back in comes Pidgeot. They can go for Brave Bird if they want. They could probably, we probably can't live too, to be fair. It's thick, but it's not that thick. But we can easily live a Brave Bird. They don't even throw it, and back in comes this thing. Good game's very well played, and you know, even though Carbink is sweeping, Dragonair is just really putting in the work, threatening shields, farming stuff down, putting them in a really awkward position, and we go 5-0 in that set. So we're currently on a 9-game win streak with this team, and although Carbink is broken in the back, nice little excellent throw, we're trying to build ourselves a Lakitung here quite soon. And we're up to 2594 elo as well. Even though Carbink is quite broken in the back, I feel like our lead Pokemon is just really putting us in an amazing position to take games. Now, once again here, I think I might slightly misplay this here. I think I decided to go for the catch in the Body Slam, which I don't think it's a bad play here actually. Maybe I could have just looked to swap straight out. No, I think that's perfectly fine here, and the opponent's actually staying in, so they may not have like a Mud Boy or any amazing answer to this. So I do let the first one go. Toxapex is super thick. They go for a Body Slam. I'm not sure if it's more efficient going for a Body Slam. Of course it is Stab. You can see that I actually threw that move like 25 minutes ago, but for some reason I lagged like 3 turns when I was throwing that move. So I was pretty pissed off about that, but we get off the move nonetheless. And I'm thinking here, you must have some fairies in the back. There's no way that you don't at this point. So I think I do want to try and take this Pokemon out here. This one Brine is not going to be enough to take it out. But what I may like to do is shield and farm it down, or swap back into Dragonair and eat this Body Slam. I don't really like this shield because I am predicting there to be Charmers in the back. So we're hoping it's not Charmers. It is Galarian Rapidash, and their farming is down here with these Fairy Winds. And to be honest with you, I kind of lost count on this thing, but I know that they're getting a huge amount of farm here. They may have to throw a move, but I think they probably can just actually commit to the farm down here. They're over farming like crazy. It takes them 4 Fairy Winds to get to a Body Slam, so I know that they're at least on like 5 or 6 Fairy Winds here at least. So I'm thinking, okay, they're definitely going to get to the move. So what I want to do here is just basically come in, shield once. It's going to be Mega Horn or High Horsepower. I almost let it go. It does turn out to be the Mega Horn. I was just respecting the High Horsepower because I thought they might be trying to hunt. And in comes Galarian Zapdos. Now, we make a very good play. We wait a turn. That's something that you guys should keep in mind. Whenever you're facing against Pokemon, if they have a catch available, just wait a turn. Wait until you see the counter go through. They're going to have to throw back-to-back close combats to take me out. So like, I am in no pressure to throw that straight away. I waited a turn, made sure that I didn't get my move caught. The opponent does go for the catch, we farm it down, and we get off the Moonblast on the Zapdos. I've seen similar teams to that in this cup through watching videos and watching other people play. Galarian Zapdos seems like a ton of fun in this cup, and of course I've used it quite a lot for videos, and I might have to bust it out again quite soon. It's such a fun Pokemon. In comes Jellicent, bit of a core breaker for this team. Thankfully it's on Bubble, so I might be able to take it here, but because we're getting it in I can't speak. Because we're getting it in the lead, and we might be able to deal with it. Now we have another core breaker. This thing just like, actually I probably should be going into Carbink here. I thought that I wanted to go in here and get these brines through. I guess that isn't correct, but the Dragon Tails are resisted, so maybe it's better to go into Carbink, considering the Carbink's super weak to Jellicent. Maybe that would have been better, I'm not too sure here. The opponent goes for an Earthquake. I maybe could have considered shielding that, but I didn't think it was worth it. Now at this point, even though it seems weird, I'm going to look to go for a farm down with Dragonair and try to threaten the Jellicent if it comes back in. They have no reason not to come back into Jellicent, and once again we're going to start firing off resisted Aqua Tails. The opponent lets it go, which is good. They have no real reason to shield that, and we look to CMP them on the next one. So at this point I'm happy enough with this situation. The Jellicent, the damage is done, they do shield it up, and do I shield this? If I shield this, okay, I don't shield it. So we're just hoping that Carbink can look to farm this down and take whatever's in the back. We do have Drapion, and this Pokemon can be very, very awkward for Carbink. As you're about to see here, I was hoping and praying this would be a Sludge Bomb, but it is Aqua Tail. They get to these Aqua Tails in 4 Poison Stings. This is basically game over for us, unfortunately, unless we can get to back-to-back moves and farm it down. I don't think we can win this. The opponent is just outpacing us so heavily. This thing is super spammy with Aqua Tails. Hits like a truck, and will one Rock Slide even take it out? We're going to farm up to the back-to-back here, pretty close to the back-to-back. We're only 1 off the move, and they're 1 off the Aqua Tail. We get off the move, the opponent does not throw it. Will this Rock Slide actually take out this Pokemon? Let's have a look. Just by like a sliver of health. The opponent's going to get off another Aqua Tail, and at this point, it's game over. They can bubble us down, and that's the end of our win streak. So we went on a 10-game winning streak with this team. We lost the first one with Scrafty, 10-game winning streak. I'm really, really happy to see that. And after this, I was like, you know what, I'm super happy. As you can see, I played 2 out of 5, and that's it, and I might lose the same. So it is definitely just a 10-game win streak. Thank you very much everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed playing the Great League Remix today. Let me know what you've been playing, Great League or Remix. And of course, let me know next week, will you be playing any Fossil Cup, or do you think you'll stick to the Open Great League? The Fossil Cup seems like quite an RPS meta, so I think I will stick to Great League, and then maybe look to go into Fossil Cup the following week. Thank you very much everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hit that like button, subscribe. Feel free to check out yesterday's video. If you want to see some tips and tricks on how to get better at the game, hit Legend, and overall become a better player, I think you'll enjoy it. Thank you everybody, catch you all next time, and thanks for watching.